Hello there everyone and welcome back to Modded Minecraft, the developers project. We're here with Shneeky tonight.
Hello.
And we're going to poke through a few more basic features of mods in 1.10, right?
Yep. I did some grunt work between episodes. You may notice a bank of furnaces, and if you'll check one of these this furnace over here on the side, you'll see I've been cooking up some bricks. Those are going to be useful in just a moment because we're going to be getting into some immersive engineering stuff. Those are going to be handy.
All right, should I scoop them out of there or?
Yeah, we're going to be able to collect those. Also, you notice I baked up some toast for you, so we've actually got some decent quality food here. So we're not quite on a subsistence level living. Here's some more bricks for you that I had pulled out of a couple of ovens. Those are going to be needed in just a second. But for now, I'm going to walk you out here. Now, I covered this over with dirt. It looks absolutely horrible, but at least it keeps us safe.
Yeah.
We built a smeltery. We've done smelteries many times before. Couple of interesting things about this particular smeltery. Number one, it is a 2x2 instead of a 3x3 inside.
Yeah, I think that had been
a little bit smaller.
I think that had actually been changed in 1.7, but we never bothered, I think.
Yeah, there's one more really big change from 1.10. Come over here to this basin and right-click that faucet to pour the copper into the basin, and watch what happens when it gets done.
It just stopped pouring from my perspective.
Click it again. Right-click it. Yeah, there we go.
I think I might have accidentally stopped. Does right-clicking a second time stop it now?
Yes, it does. That's one thing. But watch the liquid here, and when it fills, watch the progress.
Oh,
look at it.
Too cool. Somebody got...
It does a color gradient shift from what the fluid looks like to what the solid looks like, and now it's done.
Ah, and they've made I see they've worked on the texture a little too.
Well, that's the immersive engineering texture.
Right, of course. Cool.
And then you can just put that in a crafting square and break that down into 9 ingots.
Yep. Cool. Well, that's a nice...
Copper is going to be needed in immersive engineering. Tin, not so much. Apparently, they don't use a whole lot of bronze. And in fact, I don't think there are any mods in this pack right now that actually use tin, so it's actually not spawning in World Gen.
Huh. Well, what do you know? That's going to be useful.
But I did want to show off that on camera because that looks pretty cool. Now let's get into some immersive engineering. The first thing you're really going to want to do, and this is similar to a Railcraft, so we're going to need a coke oven. So let's go ahead and pull up JEI, and let's type in coke, C-O-K-E.
Coke bricks we need.
Coke bricks we need, and if you'll notice, it is 4 clay bricks, and just a sandstone per coke brick, 2 coke brick blocks. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make some 16 sandstone here for you.
Okay.
Also in here, you'll notice some industrial hemp fibers. We were farming those in the last episode.
Yep.
And that makes some tough fabric when wrapped around a stick. Those are going to be useful also in a minute here when we start getting into power. So we're going to go ahead and make those.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go ahead and here's a sandstone.
Whoops.
And
there we go. And I think you had a bit of a brick, didn't you? Or
I tossed it over to you. There should be enough for 14.
Well, I don't know that I got the last little bit of it, so...
I tossed it to you. How much are we short?
It would look like 8.
No, we're good. We're good.
Oh,
we only need 14.
Ah, okay, so then we just need the clay. And there we go.
There you go. It was in the inventory, the other one.
Nice.
There we go.
So it's another multi-block, I'm assuming, of course.
Oh, yeah. Immersive engineering is really good about their multi-block structures. Now that in this crevasse here, just fill it up completely with those coke brick blocks.
So solid block, solid wall, no hollow.
Yeah, it's just a 3x3, completely solid, not a hollow in the middle. And now, the thing about the engineer's multi-blocks is they're going to need this little toy that I'm tossing over to you, the engineer's hammer. Whack it with the engineer's hammer. Right-click it.
Ah, an activation.
There you go. Coke oven. Now then,
Nice.
coal goes in, coke and creosote oil comes out. And it's a creosote oil that we really need right now because that's what's going to be needed to make treated wood, which is going to be the foundation of a lot of things that we're going to be making in immersive engineering. A lot of the materials, instead of just needing wood, will need treated wood.
Nice.
So now automating this is a little bit tricky. We can accomplish it with the mods that we've got in hand. Ender.io does a really good job of pulling the fluids out of there.
But that'll be a job.
So
automating stuff like that will be a job for when we actually play the core series.
Right.
Yeah.
Now then, those fabric windmill blade are for the improved windmill, not just the regular windmill, but the improved windmill.
Cool.
Now that's going to require a steel ingot, and the only way to get steel is from a blast furnace, which does require nether materials. It requires some powder, blaze powder, actually. So let's go up to the top of this tower that I built here.
You've been doing all sorts of prep work.
Yeah, I at least tried to make it look somewhat decent here. You know?
Yeah. It's not bad.
So, you know, you've got this thing here, and you notice how high up we are. We're actually up at 101 right now. I did that on purpose because the windmills generate power based on how high they are, and 100 is one of the benchmarks where it makes more. Now, it's not going to be making a lot of power. Even the improved windmill really isn't going to be making more than about 30 or 40 RF per tick. This is actually one of the things that immersive engineering, I think, can improve on, is they have a bunch of lower-end generators that generate 30 to 40 RF per tick at most, but they don't have any intermediate ones in the 1 to 2 to 400 RF per tick range. They do have the diesel generator, which is kind of end game. It requires a bunch of multi-blocks, but it generates over 4,000 RF per tick.
Neat.
Pretty gas hungry though. So let's head back down.
Yeah.
And there's something else that we can get into.
They've upped the descent speed on ladders a little.
Yes, when you look down, when you're going down a ladder, you go down at full speed, but it won't actually cause you any damage.
Nice.
This is just makes ladder descent a lot easier. Now then, there's one other thing that we can get out of the way right now. I mentioned yesterday about blood magic and how blood magic has really changed.
Yes.
Now, I went in and I made some snares, and I went around and I grinded up some mobs. It's kind of complicated to use these things because you have to toss them at the mob, and it has a chance of proccing the effect that you need. And if it doesn't have the particle effects from the proc, then it won't actually drop the will.
Okay, I still want to try this.
Yeah. It's also not cheap. It requires a redstone, 4 iron, and 4... for string.
Right, and is this where these resonating crystals came from, or is that something else?
No, resonating crystals are from a different mod. That's going to be from Deep Resonance. But
we'll talk.
But yeah, basically, here's what we can do here. You're going to need 4 iron. You're going to need some string, and I've got some cotton over here. I put cotton on farm because I knew we were going to need to do this.
Yep.
So here, have some cotton, and it's just three cotton in a bend, so you can make it in your 2x2 crafting square.
But I'll need a 3x3 to make the actual net thing.
Yeah. And
let's see if I can guess how this is going to be set up. Aha! I got it. I guessed and got it right.
All right.
So
here's one of the things that you can do. If you feel brave, instead of wielding a shield, you can actually put your snares in your shield slot, and then if you right-click, it will toss the snare at the mob.
Now, if you miss, does it get used up, or is it can you pick it back up again?
If it misses, you lose it. If you right-click it, it gets used, which means you have to be very careful with right-clicking.
Yep.
Because right-clicking a door closed will also toss it.
That's what I was wondering. So
yeah. So right now what we need to do is find some mobs. It is about noon in game.
Now, I'm guessing the odds are better for hostile mobs than...
Well, they won't work on passive mobs.
Yeah, okay, good. Good.
Yeah, so you can only do this on
As it
hostile
should be.
mobs. Which, as it should be, yeah.
Now...
Oh, a couple of leather here. I guess there was a horse riding undead knight over here.
So, you also were working on... You got ruins working.
Yes. However, that is world gen that doesn't get created until you actually get into new chunks.
Well, no.
And I'd actually explored a fair bit before that update happened.
Okay, so we might just have to reset some...
We may have to retro gen or reset or something along those lines to show that off.
Well, I'm sure we'll be resetting
yes,
a few
I did finally
times.
get that done.
I wonder if there's anybody hiding in the shadow of this island here.
It is within the realm of possibility. There's also a couple of caves in the area that I have explored. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
That's actually not a good cave.
Oh yeah, that is not a happy cave.
That's a super bad cave.
That is an interesting cave. Actually, I could get you down there. That's not a problem.
My pick's almost dead. I'm actually slightly underprepared for this right now. Wow, that's an overhang and a half. This has got.
I've actually got an iron pickaxe. I upgraded. Oh, that's another thing that I want to show you. Once we get this combat taken care of, single combat, mono and mono style.
Let's see. There's a bat. Bats aren't very helpful though.
No, bat. It's not going to work with a bat. Let's see. Hello, mobby.
Anybody home?
No, nobody home.
Not a one. It's a boring cave.
All right, well, how about this? Let's head back, and I can show you another difference in 1.10 with the smeltery. And while that's going on, we can let the day turn to night, and then we could, yes, what a horrible night it is to have a curse.
Yeah. Nighttime is coming. It's not nearly as ominous as winter is coming, but
it suffices for our needs.
Slightly less, slightly more reliable, let's just say.
Yeah,
yes.
and
one of the greatest unanswered mysteries in Game of Thrones for me is what the hell is going on with the seasons in that world.
Well, the way I figured, the world just has a really funky axial tilt, and so the seasons, if it's got a wider radius around its sun than the Earth does, it can take 3 or 4 years for an actual winter. Or if it's got an oblong orbit instead of a circular orbit, like Uranus has, then you can have sevevel years where you're okay, and then you've got one where you're farther out and it's a really bad winter. So
it also just could have a very significant wobble because the tilt of the Earth towards the sun is part of what creates the season.
Yeah, that too. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go down here. Oh, you beat me.
Yeah, I'm here already.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and grab a couple of clay from this chest, and go ahead and grab an iron ore from the chest. Iron ore. And toss those into the smeltery controller, all 3 of them.
So 3 clay, or 2 clay and an iron?
2 clay and an iron ore.
Done and done. Okay.
While we're doing that, and by the way, there's a lava lake nearby.
Nice.
We're going to go back in here, and we're going to make ourselves a stone pickaxe head.
Just like usual, yeah.
Yeah, and then what we're going to do here, this is a new feature because aluminum brass no longer, well, it exists, but it's worthless. It no longer is used to make things. I've got it right here.
It's now it's a punishment for screwing up your mixtures, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. That's all it's good for. So now we've got 2 molten clay ingots. Go ahead and hit that faucet for me.
Don't we want
to pour those 2 molten clay?
Oh, I see.
Over the thing.
Oh, okay.
And as you notice, as it hardens,
it's making a mold.
And you notice the stone head went away, and now you have a one-shot clay mold. Now go ahead and right-click that. Now the heads now take 2 instead of 1.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense for their longevity.
There you go.
Okay.
Now you can take that back to your tool station and upgrade your pick to iron level.
I have a vanilla stone pickaxe still, so I'm going to actually need the rest of the parts right now.
Okay, well, for binding, if you want to use paper, it is available. I've got plenty of sugar canes around. And for the handle, actually, try using bone instead of a stick. It actually will give you more durability that way.
Reeds. So a bone instead of a stick?
For the handle.
All right. I'm just got to get used to not leaving this window to actually make these things.
Yeah, that's once you get the hang of it, it's really useful. Click on Part Builder, then just click on Tool Station. You don't have to leave the GUI or anything.
So is that a paper binding or a paper?
Yeah, paper binding.
Yeah, paper binding, and then
which does what it's always did.
Yeah, and then a bone handle. You were thinking.
And then a bone handle. Yeah.
Do we have bones?
We've got tons of bones.
Oh, you've been super busy. Okay, good.
Them bones.
I like what they've done with the part crafter.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Not having to bounce back and forth. Boom, boom, and iron. So, yeah, magnetic 2 and writable. Nice. Not going to try to modify it right yet, but...
Yep, and fractured as well.
Ah, yes. Cool.
So, yeah, there's a much better pickaxe for you. That will definitely keep us for a while. I just want to check on the coking oven. Looks like we've got about 3.5 buckets of creosote oil in there. You're getting about a half a bucket of creosote oil per coal that you do.
Okay.
So let's show you what that is actually used for. I'm going to put a bucket in here. It comes out here.
Yeah.
So now I've got a creosote oil bucket. Now I'm going to take that to crafting bench, put that in there, and let's see. I'm going to try logs first. If that doesn't work, I'll try planks. So let's try that. Nope, that didn't work. I didn't think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bucket in the crafting square with 8 planks.
Oh, you've got the wood right now. So there's the bucket. You got the planks now.
There you go, and that makes 8 treated wood planks.
And a bucket. Okay, and
a bucket.
I'm just going to quickly. So let's go with the uses. So we can make all sorts of fancy stairways and stuff with them, and then LV capacitors, MV capacitors, charging stations, item router. Interesting.
Oh, one interesting part. It has the ecological repair thing that wood does, but it doesn't have splintering.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's actually pretty useful.
Yeah,
all right.
It's a decent component, and it's also used in a lot of crafting recipes. The water wheel segments, windmill blade. That's for the lower level, the lower tier windmills.
Cool.
A lot of things are going to require this stuff. It's going to be a staple component. So now that it is dark,
time for a party. I see a zombie.
Time for a party. Okay, let's see if you can do this.
All right.
Right-click him with the snare.
Yep.
Well, you're going to need to get closer to him.
Yeah.
It's pretty short-ranged. So yeah, try it. Remember, you can't just spam it.
Yeah. Got him. And I think I got...
Okay, did you get a will?
I did. I have a demonic will.
Awesome.
All right.
So, let's see what we can do with that demonic will. Here's a door here. It's a little bit faster.
I hear a zombie. I'm just thinking about trying to get one more.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and get another one. Yeah, here he comes. This is a bad guy.
Okay. Oh, he's running away. What the?
Yeah, he's a little bit smarter. Remember, don't spam it.
Nice. Okay. Oh. Yeah, gotta get used to that not spamming thing.
Yeah. Spamming is actually bad right now. You can't. Here's another zombie if you want him.
Yeah, I don't have any more of those things left, but...
Yeah, you got to be careful and not spam it and wait for that thing to finish. So close the door up, and then we'll go back in, and I'll show you what we're going to do with this.
Because those are
first off
pretty important to start, aren't they? All right, so two...
okay.
Actually, a will quality of 4.2 from the bigger guy.
Nice. That's actually really good. So here's what we're going to do. Look in JEI and look for Forge. And you'll notice the tool forges from Tinker's Construct, and you'll also notice a Hellfire Forge.
Okay.
This is what we're going to use to actually make stuff with the will that we got.
Okay.
So we're going to need a gold ingot, a block of iron, 2 iron ingots, and 4 stone. That I just happened to smelt it up just before you showed up.
You've got that all set up and ready to go in your inventory, even, or are you?
The wood, the stone I do.
So we'll need that and that. Okay.
Yeah, you'll need yeah.
All right. So iron, gold, Hellfire Forge.
All right, let's go ahead and drop this guy down. Right there. That works.
Cool.
Now then, what we're ultimately wanting is a sentient sword.
Okay.
For which we need a petty tartaric gem. And to make a petty tartaric gem, what we're going to need to do is 1 redstone, 1 gold, 1 lapis, and 1 glass in the Hellfire Forge.
Okay. Lapis, redstone, gold, and what was the last ingredient?
Glass. I already put 1 in.
Okay. Now it matters, doesn't it?
And then put a will in the middle.
Does it matter what quality I use?
No, it does not.
All right, I'll use the lowest level, the lower quality one then. No, it does matter.
It does?
Yeah, it looks like it does matter.
What's the lower quality one at?
No, I mean it matters. I think the order matters. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the that's the problem. No, it's not accepting my.
Try this. Put it in the right-hand side. The will on the right-hand side box.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, I see. It then fuses it into the middle point. Okay.
And now you have a petty tartaric gem, and it consumed 1 will to do so. So you have 0.18 will left. Now then, here's what you can do. Have the petty tartaric gem there.
We need a fresh iron sword.
A fresh iron sword and the petty tartaric gem.
Alright, so I need a stick. Which means I need planks. Which means I need wood. No. And that. And that. And a petty tartaric gem right next to it. And that is not doing anything yet.
No, the tartaric gem and the thing goes in the demon altar.
That makes sense. Tartaric gem, brand new iron sword, and the low quality will that you just threw in there. 0.18, that's really low.
Yep. Okay, congratulations. You now have a sentient sword.
Which does basically what those lures do, doesn't it?
Only without needing. Yeah. Can I get the iron for an iron sword so I can make me one?
Did I take all the iron with me? I did. Yeah. That was foolish. It's all in the box. I threw some sticks in there too, and my extra demonic will, because not much sense in carrying. Oh. Is there an access point to this?
Also, if we make another tartaric gem, it will act as a battery and it will store all the will for you, so they're not taking up your inventory.
We need an access point to that pit beside the entrance pit. We have a nice collection of zombies. I'm just trying to get down to foot level on these guys. Ha! Nice. Okay, you had a way down here already. That was my bad. Well, I got a couple more souls out of that. You know, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm just making me a sword real quick.
Yep.
Now, the power of the sword will vary depending on how many wills you have on you. So if you've got a Tartaric gem with a lot of will, then it will do more damage.
So
what I'm doing is I'm going to make another Tartaric gem for you, and then another one for me.
And you can fill those, you keep that in your inventory and fill it up with demon wills?
Correct.
Okay.
So here you go, have your Tartaric gem.
Alright, thank you. And then, do I just...
I'm making me one.
Now how do I combine them? Is that another altar thing?
Actually, no, it should be on pickup. If you toss it down, when you pick it up, instead of being picked up into your inventory, it goes into your Tartaric gem.
Ah, how cool. And then you say having that in my inventory will make the sword do more damage, or is that when I actually make my next sword?
Nope, that will make your sword do more damage.
I'm up to 1.6 attack speed, so yes. I'm going to pop out and see if there's any residue from last night, like creeper or something. Oh, there's a spider. Now, unfortunately, it means there's no way to tell if you've actually... It's not as easy to tell if you actually got one of the souls, is it?
Yeah, it is. Just check your Tartaric gem. When you mouse over it, it says will quality, and it should have the number of will you have in there.
Okay, yeah, it's up to 6.7, so... Now, as you said, passive mobs don't do anything for it.
If they do, it's a very minimal amount. Let me see if that actually works or not. I'm just going to kill this sheep over here. Or no, excuse me, cow. It's a cow.
Yeah.
So I currently have 10.68, and I go whack. I said I go whack. And I got an achievement, cow tipper, but I got no will. So yeah, passive mobs do not generate will. Only aggressive, hostile mobs do.
Or at the very least...
mob grinder going to be very important in grinding these up.
Yeah, or at the very least, relatively unimportant. Below significant quality, a significant threshold of quantity or anything like that. So, okay, well...
So these are a couple of mechanics that are brand new for this version that we're playing around with. These wills are... Oh, that. Yeah. And you can actually make other sentient weapons as well. You can make a sentient bow. You can make a sentient... a lot of sentient things.
Yeah, axe, pick, shovel. Yeah, neat.
Yeah, the sentient bow is kind of interesting.
Do they all feed off of the same Tartaric gems?
Yep.
Nice. So you could potentially...
And then eventually you can upgrade your Tartaric gems to higher quality ones that will store more. You'll notice I had a creeper incident over here, and so they've got some civilization holes floating around.
Yes, the surest sign that there's somebody living in the neighborhood is that creeper hole. Okay, well, I think that's a good spot to wrap up this episode. So a lot of big changes in this one from our previous edition.
Yeah, a lot of these changes, some of them are actually vanilla. For example, the swinging of the sword. If you spam it, it will do almost no damage to the opponent. You have to wait for it to refresh before you swing again for it to do its full damage. That's a vanilla change.
Old habits are going to die hard there, I can tell that.
Yeah, it's one of those things you got to get used to, which you can, it's a thing.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Indeed. All right. Well, I don't know what we're going to do in the next episode. I got a couple ideas. But for now, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.
Take it easy.